Yo, this is the Inflection Collective. All of us are connected, reflective, real life perspective, respected. The banter, the chit chat, no cap, it's big facts, so kick back. This here is done there, been there.
And one of the games that we had the other day on Martin Luther King's Day on the 15th was the Michigan-Ohio State game. And they had a cutaway, and they had the Fab Five was back on the court.
Five.
Chris Webber, Jalen, Juwan, Ray, Jimmy, all of them back. Of course, everybody knows the Fab Five back in the 90s, early 90s, Michigan basketball, the freshman sensation that turned college basketball on its head, the long black shorts, the black shoes. I mean, they just brought a lot of swagger. They brought a lot of culture to the world of college basketball. Love them or hate them. A lot of people hated them, but a lot of us loved them because they brought a lot of notoriety to the game of basketball. Well, over the years, they've had some issues, and that was the first time they had actually been at Crisler Arena for a basketball game since 1993 as a group, because there was some dissension between them. They fell out for some reasons. The booster, this guy named Ed, I can't think of his name right now, but Ed Martin. Ed Martin was a booster. So a lot of the things that Michigan accomplished over the years got wiped out because of the NCAA investigation and the sanctions and whatnot, and it caused dissension between the group, and it also caused some dissension between the players and the University of Michigan, because University of Michigan pretty much just wiped them away as well. So they finally came back because Juwan has been the head coach of Michigan for the last couple of years. And over the years, I think Jalen and Juwan actually just made up a couple of years because they those two were really at odds. And I'm so happy to see those brothers because I love Jalen. I love Juwan. I love all of them, Juwan, Jalen, and who am I missing? Chris is my guy as well. And the fact that they've been able to get back together and show that love for one another again, as they said, it's family, and sometimes family falls out, but family eventually gets back together. So I'm happy to see that.
It's always good when someone that you knew as a group is able to come back as a group. And there's so many things that can cause dissension. You mentioned about the booster and them getting, their banners not being hung and all the tension and stress of also just friendships. I think for me, my memory of the Fab Five was, it was one of my first times I heard of a college team. You knew every person on the team, It wasn't just one star. It was the Fab Five. They were a complete group. So yeah, over the years, knowing that they weren't in contact, they weren't friends, was heartbreaking in a outsider spectator kind of way. But it does make you think about friendships you've had over the years. Yep. And when have you had friends? I know personally, I have friends that I'm pretty sure I'll never will speak to again. I don't have anything negative, bad, or, ungodly to say about them. But sometimes you can have a disagreement with a friend, take a little time apart, express your positions, and the friendship goes on unfazed. In my experience, when I've had friendships that have just ended and no one has reached out, I feel like that's more than a disagreement or a misunderstanding. I think that's more of an exposure of this probably wasn't really a friendship in the first place.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. Sometimes it's recencies and lifetime, right? So a lot of people that we went to high school with, obviously we went to the same high school. I went years before you, so we don't have to make that distinction again. But I went to school with your sister, who's not that much older than you, just by the way. And there are people that I went to high school with that I was really close to. I thought they were going to be lifelong friends. And now if I look back, I may have maybe two friends that I went to high school with that I still speak to today. One I just saw right before Christmas, a guy named Vincent Hudson, who's a lifelong friend. And that happens over the years. Going to the Air Force, you meet guys that you hang out with, that you're really tight with, that you'll keep in touch with, but you're not as close as you used to be. I don't like to fall out, or I don't like to say cut people off unless they've done something really negative. We'll get into that in just a second. What is something that is a breaking point where you'll never look back or whatnot. But at the same time, I do give people emotional vacations because some people aren't meant to go with you in the next phases of your life. You know what I mean? Because you grow up and you grow apart from some people. Now, you can grow apart from some people because they've chosen to stay in a certain mentality. We're both from Bessemer, Alabama, and nothing to shit on Bessemer, Alabama, because we love our hometown. But we know that Bessemer, Alabama, the state of Alabama, has its issues sometimes. And there's a mentality when you go down to Bessemer. And I don't know if you feel this way, Eunice, but I'll speak for myself. When I go to Bessemer sometimes, there's still a mentality there that doesn't feel like certain people have grown or they want to grow, maybe because they have not been exposed to other things. And so when I go back, I feel like I don't feel like I'm above anybody, but I don't feel like some people have grown up from when they were 17 or 25 years old. You know what I mean? Because of that mentality. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's depressing for me, to be quite honest with you, because I really want us as a people, especially my former friends, to grow and to become bigger and better and understand that there's so much more out there beyond what we've seen. But if they can't, then it's time for me to break off and move on. Like with the Fab Five, I love that they were able to have that friendship as freshmen coming into Michigan, doing what they did, break apart, but then eventually realize as, mature men that, hey, you know what we did, what that was happening, that was petty, and it shouldn't be something that breaks apart the bond that we have and the bond that we can continue to have. So I'm happy that they're doing their thing right now.
And I know, especially when men are involved, there's a lot of pride and ego. So that's also really great that everybody, you have to check yourself in some way to reconcile with someone. Even if you don't feel like you were in the wrong, you still have to check your pride and ego in being able to accept somebody that you feel wronged by, let alone be the one to apologize and acknowledge, hey, I dropped the ball on that. I was thinking about this morning about friendships. Oh, I was going to say, opposite than you, my cutoff game is strong. I mean, when I tell you, listen, it is like it's like my superpower. Okay. I can literally never talk to you ever again and feel nothing. I'm not mad.
Wow.
I'm not going to say anything bad about you, but I literally am never looking for you again. And I was thinking about one time it wasn't even a disagreement with a close friend of mine, but it was just our energy was off this day. And everything I said, it seemed like she kind of just was snapping at me. And I was like, hey, I'll just talk to you later. And it bothered me the whole entire day that something was off between me and this close friend. By the time I called her back that evening, she answered the phone by saying, and I'm going to be so upset if you calling me to apologize first, because it was bothering her,
wow.
And it was like, oh, you beat me to it. And we just talked like, what's going on? What happened? It turned out she just got too hungry. Little blood sugar got a little low. She got a little hateful. Didn't know what was going on.
Yep.
But I also have had friends that I thought I was super close with. We have a falling out, and I never think about talking to them ever again. Like same day, real time.
What could cause that? What could cause that? What is that breaking point for you? Okay.
Because what the disagreement or the misunderstanding about, I'm all for that. But if it's an exposure of how you actually feel about me, which is not friend-like, it's like, oh, wait, for this person to say this, they ain't never been my friend. If we're not just having a misunderstanding or disagreement or difference of opinion, this person is telling me how they actually feel about me, and this ain't how you would feel about a friend. And so this is good information to have. We ain't never got to reconnect on nothing because you just said something and let me know something. I had a person that I thought was a friend. I remember when I first got promoted to main anchor at the TV station in Alabama, and of someone who had been affiliated with that job. Trying not to put people on blast. I'm like, but somebody who had worked with me.
Right.
Called to congratulate me. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate it. And she said, yeah, because they were like, you weren't ready for it. And I was like, well, at least she wanted us. And I was like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Oh.
And that was because it was like, one, why would someone feel comfortable saying something like that about me to you if they know we're friends? And two, why would you feel like you need to bring it back to me? And so it was an exposure, right? And it was just like, okay, I know to put this person in another category, which is not close.
I say this all the time, Eunice. As a matter of fact, I just put this on one of my mic checks. Some of the people that hate you the most are the ones that are the most close to you. The ones that applaud you, that break bread with you, that drink with you, that cheer you on and say everything in front of your face and they love you. A lot of these people can't stand your ass and they can't wait for you to fail and they're waiting for you to fall down. These are the ones, be careful the ones that find out all this negative news, especially I've discovered so much over the last couple of years with everything that I've gone through publicly with the breakup and all that type of stuff like that, of these so-called friends who cannot wait to come back and tell me negative stuff that they seen online. And I tell them all the time, man, I don't read that stuff. I do not read blogs like that where I know that they're just trying to crucify me or trying to bring me down or trying to drag me. I don't want that negative stuff. So why are you bringing it to me? I just want to make sure it was your attention. Why?
Right. You ain't got to do that. Don't bring it to me. Right.
And if somebody is talking about me behind my back, well, so-and-so is blah, 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 blah. I say, my question is, what are you saying?
Right.
How are you defending me? What are you saying to make sure that, you know, they got the information wrong? Or
Mhm.
why are you bringing it back to me in the first place?